So I just started recording
Thank you.
since it's about time, and yeah, great. I like having people participate. Um, Hopefully, you guys can see my screen here. I've got EAX on, and I just took a quick glance at it, and I usually check to see what's pumped and dumped, but lately I've been finding that shorts tend to have quicker moves, and when they fall, they just fall. And then when something's getting ready to pump, it tends to consolidate a little bit and then it pumps. So I'm trying to focus more on shorts than I used to. So I'm putting Pippin on my list for today to look at, and L3. Um, let's see. Maybe I can.
Now we just turned the hour, so I updated my DAX also.
Yes. Yeah, that's so critical here. Like I'm using EAX more than I used to, and I'm really happy with it. Um, I used to use Indicator X, and then I was just trading TDIX and moving averages. But now I'm really getting into SMCX, and I'm really loving it. It's taken me a while. I had to watch a lot of the training videos and stuff, but it is, I would say, the best for entries on reversals and stuff.
It's really great to get you looking at the coins that are on the ends of their ranges.
Yes.
And sometimes it'll show you coins and they still got more room to go, because you always have to obviously verify with your own TA.
Yes, yes. That's exactly it. I mean, you can get so many, alerts if you have alerts set for possible trades, but you gotta verify it. This is interesting. So I'm focusing on these red ones a little bit. Just kind of glancing at them, and because I'm actually looking for shorts right now. I might be interested in longs soon, but I generally look at this 1 hour swings. Of course, the 4 hour is going to have bigger moves, but the 1 hour just gives you so many more trade opportunities, and you're not waiting around as much for something to trade. When
I typically turn on the key levels and the well, when the list, like I have like 9 or 10 on mine, I'll turn key levels on and see what falls off, and then RSI divergences, and then whatever's left. And you could even do top movers, and get that's like narrowing the field. But if it's a key level and an RSI divergence, that's pretty good for me. Like Arrow, Vera, and Flock are the shorts I would look at right now.
So when I put it on here, when I get the RSI divergences on and key levels, it's showing me GPS.
Did you refresh?
Let me do that.
Mine just built the new list.
Yeah, that must be it. I thought it was going to refresh automatically, but it needs it. Welcome, guys. Prosperity and Cat Monkey. I seen Coco in a minute ago, but he dipped out or whatever. Yeah, it's refreshing, and let's go with key levels and RSI divergences. See if they pop up here once this loads. Yeah, I got Blue AI on my list of things to look at. Maybe GPS if it's still on there, and if there's other things people want to look at, I can look at them.
I wonder if it's because I use Glowfin.
That's it. Yeah, I use Bybit. I'm gonna start getting into Glowfin. That must be it. It's an exchange thing. Do you use Glowfin too? Okay. Just out of curiosity, what do you guys like about Glowfin so much? I mean, they do have stuff on there that's not on Bybit, but Oh, I'll invite
Well,
you.
I can't use Bybit in the US.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, I probably would have been on Bybit. I use MEXC sometimes and WeX. Um, I prefer Blowfin. I'm just used to it. MEXC is nice because with Blowfin, you have to, if you have a stop loss or any limit orders or TP set, you can't change your leverage without killing them all first. It's a pain in the butt sometimes, but that's the only thing about Blowfin I don't like at this point.
Yeah.
Some of the some of the other exchanges, you could just adjust those things on the fly. Hopefully, Blowfin changes their ways. That would really be nice.
Welcome, Cat Monkey. Um, I was gonna say, hey, um, I was probably gonna just take a quick look at Bitcoin, and then you guys can really join in, or you can join in anytime. And I appreciate you guys joining because for this one, I wasn't even sure what I was going to talk about. I was just going to look at coins and see what if there's anything anybody else wanted to look at. But I really appreciate you and your input, Alan. Um, yeah, I'm looking for shorts more now too.
I have a yeah, I have a
So,
little bit of time and I have to leave for work.
mm-hmm,
If you want, pick a coin. I have a suggestion for me personally, because I'm just starting to get into using like Trendex, and I've been using TDIX for a long time. I've been using SMCX for my shorts a lot for the last like 2 or 3 months or so since it's been out,
mm-hmm,
and it works really well. But I'd like to see you put together a possible trade or showing like when you incorporate Trendex and you look at the lines like the monthly and the
okay,
daily and things like that. When it's like kind of giving you an idea, you should maybe take the short or the long because sometimes that's a little unclear for me.
mm-hmm,
Um, I
yeah,
know I can tell once it's floated off the pivot, but when it's like ranging, just those little details, like insights from people that understand it perfectly. I've only watched, like, honestly, maybe a half a dozen of the trainings, the more recent ones.
mm-hmm,
Um, I still have a lot more to go, but I mean, I didn't like, I think I mentioned the other day, I've been in Easy Algo for a long time. I just didn't
mm-hmm.
use it because it was just my mind wasn't ready to accept that kind of learning when I was just didn't even know basic TA. So yeah,
Yeah. So just to look at Fartcoin as a quickie, this is one I really wanted to look at, and yeah, I hear you guys. I've been there. Um, so we can talk about how how to get to what you really want to use as your entry trigger or what you can use. Um, all in all, there's always going to be emotion attached to it because you've got your capital on the line. So you want to make sure you've got good confluence. But I think a lot of times when we jump into trades, there's a lot of up and down when we first get in. We're hoping that it just goes immediately in our direction, but I'm looking at a 4 hour here. If I zoom in on the 1 minute, there's going to be a lot of ups and downs. So you kind of got to trust the higher time frame TA, which is it's weird, but after a while you get used to it. So like with Fartcoin, you had this massive dump here, and then so I pulled from the bottom to this top, and as soon as I pulled this, I noticed that I'm getting reactions on these levels like the 382, the point 0.5 here, like tapped it here. So once you start seeing that after you pull a fib, you know that your your fib's in the right spot. And I do use fibs, even though I can often look at these and tell without pulling the fibs, because an 886 is very similar to a double bottom because a double bottom's not always the exact um, double bottom. One of the bottoms might be off just a little bit, and depending on your time frame or how big of a move it was, the 886 the price might go a little beyond it, and it might come very close to like an actual double bottom where price hit the same spot twice. But I use this, and I'll get rid of the fib, because that's not an easy algo tool, but it's smart to use it because there's always going to be retracement. You're always going to have at least a 50% retracement. And if you're not getting that, if you keep hitting like the 382 or something, it's a strong trend and it hasn't had its retracement yet. But like with this, because I pulled from this bottom to this top, I would expect it to at least go to the 50%, the 0.5, but it usually goes to the 618 or 786. And in this case, it hit them both. It's got this trend line here, and it's respecting this trend line pretty solid and still in a downtrend, still bearish market structure. It looks like it's ready to break out, but it can wick. It can dump really quick right on this trend line. So I'm not. I wouldn't go long
You would
on
call
this.
that a descending channel as well, yeah.
Yes, yeah, yes, it would be.
Because it looks parallel more or less.
Yeah, overall it's bullish, but when will it pop? That's the good question. Now, because it had the 786, we're right in this anywhere between the 618 and the 786, this golden zone, because it's had a kind of a decent reaction here. This is usually a place to have a lot of interest in what's going on. But whenever I start seeing bottoms, I start pulling. Turn my aircon off. It's cool in here. I start pulling demand zones. I start pulling like on the last opposite color candle, like a little rectangle like this to see, just in case. And I did this the other day. So I'm waiting, to see if it'll bounce, and you don't always get a bounce on a demand zone. But if it does, that could be the start of your change in market structure. It hasn't cleared this high or any of these, and it's still bearish. But I mean, it's a bullish pattern, but until you start getting it, like say a little higher high and a higher low, it's there's a good chance it's probably going to come down. I mean, it could shoot up, but you do have.
Would you call that a W, or it needs another low and another high after that? Maybe one more.
It's a little at an angle. I would still say it's just a downtrend, and these are the swings.
Okay.
I would expect it to go for a W more closer to the 886, but I'm waiting to see what happens here, and it looks like it's got a nice wick here, depending on how this 4-hour candle closes, if it falls under this trend line again. And oftentimes when you get a break of a trend line, like a breakout, you have a pretty big move and you'll think, oh, I missed it. But not really. Like a lot of times it'll come back down, hit the trend line for a little bit, and then it'll shoot. You will have like a trend line retest more than you won't.
Yeah. That would be a SR flip, right? So yeah.
Yeah. So I did turn, and by the way, let me get rid of this other volume. It's great volume, by the way. This is why I'm watching Fartcoin. I actually entered a trade somewhere down here. I can't remember. And I got stopped out, and then it ran. And I seen this coming because, I look at the divergences, and look at this divergence on this. The money flow is gradually coming up, and it's coming up sharper right here, getting close to the 50. This is, I would say it's very ready. It may come back down one more time and put in that higher low. But awesome, Cat Monkey. He ended around 24. Or she, I'm sorry, Cat Monkey. Are you a woman? I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. That's great. That's a good entry.
Yeah. The reason I'm like, oh my God, you're doing the analysis, it just really captured my eye. Because I'm also interested in this one. So yeah.
Yeah, like when you see, I just kind of yanked my cord on my headset 1 second. So when you see like the money flow coming up like this, while the price is still going down, it's usually just a matter of time, and you get some sort of move. Sometimes it's massive, especially it's like higher time frame money flow. And it often feels like you miss it, but Now it'll run for a while, and if you get down on the lower time frames, you can catch lots of long scalps or shorts if it was the opposite situation. But for those that don't really know what I'm talking about, if anyone watches this, you just kind of seeing like gradually the price coming down. Well, this case, it's an exaggerated one. It came down a little bit here, and it's still the money flow came up. And then the same thing over here, it came down quite a bit, and then the money flow came up quite a bit. So when I start to see this, I'm looking at usually the 4 hour, but I've been kind of moving down to the 1 hour and 15-minute more. I'm always looking for this right here. There's a little sideways action here. And there was also this this is now green. This was a key level here of some sort, and you had like it kept bouncing on it, and then it fell through and it started having wicks like rejecting it, and then it had another wick on top. So this is a really good sign for possible continuation. It's very possible that something like this that it might even come back down again. But I would extend this, that it's possible it may hit this instead of retesting the trend line or hit it around there. But another thing you want to watch, especially on these 4 hour time frames, is just in a strong uptrend like this, these opposite color candles tend to be great order blocks. And you would be surprised. Well, I keep doing it wrong. I'm clicking the wrong. My GAN. Oh, okay, there. My GAN box moved. But I would draw a zone on this right here, and there's a high likelihood that if it comes down again, that it'll hit that and bounce, and that'll be the higher low. And there's a lot of confluence here. As a matter of fact, you'd pull another fib just to like see, and that's probably somewhere in well, that's between the 382 and the 5. So it might hit the 382 or something right around here. It could. So I would watch this one. Altcoin has been coming down. It's been super oversold for a while. People like to trade it. It's always been one of those ones that people like to trade. And even if it doesn't have a big move up, there's something you can trade out of it, something you can get out of it. You plan to TP at 31, okay. So I won't spend too much more time on it, but now that the high time frame looks like there's potential bullish action coming up, I'd start looking at lower time frame stuff. And let's see here. Well, when I see the money flow up high like this, I know eventually it's going to start going lower, because everything's just like a big wave all the time. And yeah, this is your area to watch for a lower high. And so you said you were going to take profit around 31. That would be a smart area to take profit, as a matter of fact, because there's a high up here. There's definitely going to be some sort of key opposing levels, and then there's liquidity, and there's trend X. It's at the previous week. Is that the weekly? I think it is. Yeah, I think that's the previous week. When I have them on at the same, yeah, that's the weekly level. Maybe when I have them on at the same time, sometimes I get confused with the colors. So let me let's just do this and turn that. Yeah, it's the weekly. So yeah, there's a weekly level there on your trend X. That's a very good spot to take profit. And there's a high likelihood that it will make it there, because look at this RSI. It's above the 50 and it's just up here, and the money flows high. It's going to print divergences for a while, but it's probably going to make it. Is it Altcoins related to BTC? I didn't know about that. I didn't know much about Altcoin other than I think wasn't it created by an AI?
Yes, yes. And just every time I feel like it's like a sort of like have a correlation with the BTC. When BTC go up and the farm go up, so that's why I see today BTC bomb. That's maybe the reason I pay attention on Farcoin. That's right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's pretty cool. Thanks for telling me that. I did not know that. That there are different coins and different ecosystems that do tend to pump when other ones pump. You know, it's a little late to say this because you already got in around that spot, which is a very good spot where you got in. Because like it was making it up above here somewhere. You said you got in around 2.4. Yeah, that was a nice spot because it got up above resistance, and not only that, it had a hidden bullish divergence at that time. Like what barely an RSI hidden bull, but like where you had this money flow real low here, and then like so that's when I miss, when it feels like I miss an entry, I wait and I'm like, there's almost always a hidden divergence, a continuation divergence after the breakout. And so you entered it at the spot for that, because that's every time there's a breakout or something, or like market structure change, you'll have that, you'll have some like a hidden bull or hidden bear. So this
I did not know hidden bull divergent. I did not know about that. I didn't. Yeah, I see
that's
the point.
yeah. Whenever I see a support or resistance flip, and I see a trend starting, one of the first things I look at is on the money flow. I'm looking for a hidden divergence for a continuation divergence, because the regular divergences are like reversals, but that was right in the zone too. So that was a really good spot where you entered. And I would say there is a strong likelihood that it probably takes some time, but it'll probably make it up there to this trend X line maybe before it comes back down the retest. But I can't guarantee anything. That was just from the 15-minute, because the 15-minute, when the RSI is hanging out above the 50 up here, and how high that Bollinger Band is above the 50, that looks good. You see these bearish shark fins, but the RSI is hanging around up here, so it's going to take a lot to bring it down, to slow it down. I'd say I'd make it up here to 31 probably.
Thank you for your analysis.
Yeah, I hope it works out for you. See, if when it gets like this, you're just going to get a bullish shark fin if it tries to go lower. It can go down, and just go down below the 50, but you're more likely to have it to continue for a little bit until you start seeing the waves get lower. And yeah, so that's Fartcoin. Looks pretty good. But it's still fighting with that. And we'll see what it does here, which there is a likelihood it'll do that. And if it does make it there, it should put in a might go a little bit beyond. We'll see. There's a fair value gap right over here, right above this wick. But that would be a nice little higher high. And then if it comes down and puts in a higher low, that would probably, I might look for an entry there too. So that's Fartcoin. Looking great on that. Can you please look at BNB and XRP? Okay, Prosperity. I will. I'm going to write that down. And if I get too distracted, like, can you guys like tell me to speed up? Because I've got Pippin. Maybe we'll look at that real quick. L3 Bless and GPS. I'm just going to skip Blue AI so I can make sure I have time to look at these. But oh, thanks, Cat Monkey. Thank you. Thanks, guys, for coming in and partaking in this. I know you're in different time zones and stuff, and it's not easy, sometimes. Yeah, let's. So let's go ahead and look at, and Alan or Cat Monkey, if you guys or anybody wants to jump in on the mic and just talk while I do this, I can answer questions the entire time. I don't really have any set curriculum for this show. I'm just kind of just going with the flow. And we'll just take a quick look at some of these. Pippin's, let's do a quick quickie. Well, there's not enough data on it yet. RSI is high on the weekly. Daily, it's kind of iffy on the daily. I mean, it's getting up here. The market structure is definitely bullish, but the way this thing goes up and down, this could, it could drop just as fast. Look at this craziness. It goes up, comes right back down, it goes right back up. And look at this wick here on the daily. This is crazy. So I've been looking at this a little bit on and off. And look at this. You have another example of a hidden bullish divergence, and it's a strong one too, especially when you see that, when you have a higher low and a lower low on your oscillator, that's a hidden bull. Especially when you see that money flow getting way down there, you're going to probably have a big ass move. So when you say that, I can't believe I missed that. I'm often looking at the 15-minute time frame and looking for scalps, but when you see something like this on a higher time frame, it's going to blow. And I had this trend line I was looking at. I had this little trend line on here. I was looking at the 15-minute or something, and then I don't know what time was it. Yeah, around. I missed it. I might have been doing something else. But I was watching this. Had some strong resistance here, and then it broke its uptrend. Whenever I do these, I think I talk about this a lot, but when I do like an uptrend line, I often wait for it to break down below and then go up and then do like something like this, a wick on it. And I don't worry about shark fins. I enter when I start seeing this fast MA going below this middle band. I would enter it around here somewhere. But then, it had its retracement. So that was still a nice short. If anyone took it, that would have been pretty sweet. Took a long time. Yeah, and here's another example of what I was talking about earlier. Like if the RSI is hovering or above the 50 line, it's bullish, and if it's down here below the 50 for a long time like this, it's bearish. And as you can see, it just kept going down as it's down here. So Pippin is super bullish, but what goes up, it's going to come down. And here's like another hidden bull, even after that other one that was here on the 4 hour. Here's another one. See, as it continues the trend, like this low would be where you take it from, because this is the low, and then you check your oscillator, and then you had a higher low here with the lower low on the oscillator. So that would have been a hidden bull right around here for a continuation. And is like such a killer entry. If you watch the replay, Alan, have a good one. You probably already finished with work if you're watching it, but I missed your message. So by the way, anybody, if you want to join the stage, you're welcome to. Otherwise, I'll keep looking at some coins and take some requests and just kind of look at stuff that I seen on EAX at the beginning of the stream. I made a little list. So yeah, I'm mostly a money flow trader. Even when I use Indicator X or TD or SMCX, I use the money flow as like my confluence, a strong confluence. And then this crossover, like in this case, if you would have entered like right here where this crossover happened, it went sideways. But this this is how you know to hold the trade. This is like a classic. I didn't even see this till now. But when you see this, when you see price going sideways and the RSI is climbing and the money flow is climbing, and it's like, you even probably thought this was a big move. If you were in this trade, you're like, oh yeah, I'm in the green. But you know what? When you see this here, party, okay, I'll write that down. You might have to remind me. Okay, I looked at Pippin. I'm finishing up on, I did Fartcoin. Okay. So when you see this money flow coming up while the price is going sideways, especially like this, and when it gets right around here, for that matter, when you start getting like around the 60 line, it's usually, or above the 50 and something like this, or even really 60, you start getting really big pump candles. And the same if the RSI is going lower, you start getting really big dump candles, or you're more likely to get them. Sure, Coco. You know what? When you click on my profile, it'll show a link to my YouTube channel. But I want you to know something, and whoever's listening to this replay, I plan to completely revamp my YouTube channel, because I kind of, when I became a mentor, it just kind of happened, and I've been learning a lot and sharing with whatever I know. And a lot of my older videos are very long and repetitive, and I plan to basically axe those and get rid of a lot of my older videos. And in that, I'm going to make a lot of newer videos, shorter videos to the point on my YouTube channel. And then I'm going to talk about all sorts of things, from trading view indicator tools or trading view tools, how to use things in trading view, try to make quicker, shorter videos straight to the point. So when you go to my channel, you can get exactly what you need and not waste your time. Because I don't like going to somebody's channel and watching their videos, and then the videos are so long and I don't have time for it. So I do plan to lessen the length of my YouTube videos, and then make a lot more videos on stuff. And so yeah, Coco, right now I do have a lot of stuff on money flow. It's quite simple. You'll pick it up so quick. Look at this. Whenever you see a big money flow hump, it takes a while, but something big is brewing when it gets way up here. When it gets like this high and you got this massive run, you're usually going to have a divergence. Like this would have been a bear div as it was coming down. But in this case, you didn't have a divergence, but you had a big one. And this is still, which is wild because it's still going sideways. But as the money flow is coming down while price is going sideways, there's a potential for a drop, especially as this RSI crosses below again, right around this 50, and it gets ready to fall up below the 50. And then you start seeing, let's see if I can find another situation. Maybe not on this time frame. So when you're in an uptrend, like when your fast MA bounces above this middle band, it's usually picking up momentum. Like here, in this case, it went down, started doing divergences. But you really want to watch this fast MA interaction with the money flow. Like this is a really good one here too. It's like if the fast MA tries to get above it and then just rejects on it, that's often a good short entry. Like right here, see, it tries to get above it, but it can't. When you zoom in a little bit, you can see like right here, it's like it went up and you would have got in around here or something, or maybe a retracement. But hey, this is something to keep in mind too while I'm looking at it, and I just noticed it. You see this is on an RSI hidden bear div. So like this is a hidden bear. It's not a money flow divergence, but see how the price, you had a lower high, but a higher high on the divergence, or on the RSI, the oscillator. that's a hidden bear. So this here, as soon as you've seen something like this would have been a killer entry for a short. And basically it's just saying the short downtrend is continuing when you see that. So it's something to remember to say if you're looking for shark fins, bearish shark fins in a downtrend. Look and see if that bearish shark fin is higher than another RSI high at a high that's higher. And the only way this would have invalidated is if price down here would have went above this line. So because if price would have went above that, it wouldn't have been a lower high here. So that would have invalidated the divergence. So watch out for those when you're in a trend. They help you get good entries in a trend where you feel like you're late. So yeah, this sucker's bullish, but at the same time, it has potential to drop. I mean, even like right here, you see how the RSI or fast MA was kind of hovering around the 50 and it just couldn't get much higher. And you started getting like a lot of wicks on the upside, where there was probably a key level right around here too. But you see stuff like this, and then it points down right at that 50, like it's probably going down. And this one though is above it. So there's a chance, depending on, I would wait for this to get below this to go short, like this white line to get below. So that's that one. Kind of spent a little bit of time on that one. I'll try to speed up a little bit. Oh, I will look at your coins here soon. I'm just trying to hit the things that were on EAX first real quick. Okay, this is interesting. I don't think I've ever looked at this one before. Let's see what the monthly's doing. Monthly first. Yeah, it just hit the monthly line. I made my middle line on my Trendex, where there's on the pivots there's 3 lines. I made my middle one brighter and thicker because it's just there's more reaction on that, but you get strong reactions on these other ones. This volume is really high on this thing. That's very bullish. You can often short the reaction to lines like this and then get a quick scalp short, but this is in an uptrend, and of course it can change anytime, but this is that's pretty bullish. I wouldn't try to hold a short very long on this one. Check the daily real quick. Yeah, it's way like high on the RSI. It's one to watch. Weekly. Yeah, even weekly. I mean, it could be due for a pullback, but it's bullish. What I would do too. There we go. When I start to see stuff like this where it's way more bullish than Trendex, I start pulling fibs and looking for the 1618. Wow, it made it to the 3618. That's super. That's crazy. Yeah, so if I pulled from this high to this low, because I seen this going way beyond, when it goes beyond the 886 like this with strength, like chances are it's going to go to the 1618 or higher. And you see here it had that, it went above and then just kind of had a reaction to it, and it said nope, and it kept going up. It had another reaction at the 2618, and now it's at the 3618. But these are very dangerous levels to trade with any kind of high leverage. When it's this bullish, the volatility is so high. It's risky. It's very risky. Um, you'd really have to get down on super low time frames, and even then it's risky. So you kind of have to measure your leverage, what kind of leverage you're going to use. Um, but even so, some of these little swings, like on a 1 minute, which won't last long. I mean, you can get some 12% in 30 minutes. And that's against the trend too. Yeah, so this is really bullish. I watch it and wait. I wouldn't risk it right now. I'm just not, I don't like to take that much risk. There's so many other safer opportunities all the time. Can you guys hear me? Can you guys hear me? Oh, okay, great. I was getting a little sign here on my trading view. It was
Yeah.
like it was lagging out or something. Sorry about that. We had a storm here last night. It was a massive hailstorm. And sometimes when the clouds are like thick,
Same here.
did you? Okay. Yeah, and it's sometimes because my internet's just wireless, and I often get issues with it. This here, wow, on the 1 minute, this is bullish, but it's even putting in higher money flow on this. I wouldn't touch this right now. There's just other things. I mean, if you had got in somewhere lower before it went crazy, it would have been all right. But like, when things get up here, it's just so volatile. I have to be careful and stay away. I mean, it's risky.
I have one quick question there.
Yeah.
Regarding the money flow,
Mhm.
right now, yes, at one, I think when you see it's so bullish, is that because you see that the blue mountain and the slope is even, and the blue mountain, the blue mountain is above 50, and also the
Yes.
blue mountain
You mean
flat.
this here?
So
This blue line here?
no, that sorry, that the you know the blue mountain on the outer layer, the blue mountain. I don't know what is that called.
Well,
So in other
these are
words,
just, you mean these are kind of like Bollinger Bands, really? Like these blue lines, the top one and the bottom one? And then this money flow, the red and
no,
green line is like the middle
not
of it.
green, the green mountain. Sorry,
Oh, okay.
green mountain. The
Yeah.
green mountain,
Mm-hmm.
the green. Sorry, the
Mm-hmm.
green mountain. It keep just stay with the flat. That's why you consider it's still a very bullish, right? Because that the green mountain and the remain, even though it remain flat, it doesn't go up that much, but you still consider it's bullish, right? The green one, the green mountains,
Yeah.
the info,
Yeah,
yeah.
it is. It's just what I believe is this is more like an RSI moving average, and when you get stuff like
Oh,
this,
okay.
it's and
Mm-hmm.
the volume's really high too. It's still high.
Right.
When you get stuff like this, it takes a while for it to reverse. You'll often say like this green wave, mountain however you want to call it, and then you're probably going to get something like this before it really. You'll have big moves and dips on it. You could scalp it, but it's risky.
Right.
Maybe on like 10-second time frame or something like Crypto Crisp would do. But like with something like this, I'll try to give you an example elsewhere on something that pumped like Pippin. Perfect example. And let's
Okay.
go maybe 10-minute time frame. That one didn't.
Okay.
Actually, the 15 looked good. I'll try the 32. Okay. it looks so different on different time frames. All right, so the 15-minute seems about the best. Now in this case, do you see how this one is really high like the other one was, but it's even higher,
Yeah.
and it's
Yes.
still, look how crazy it went up. So when you see this, there's a good chance it's going to take time to come down, like, and then it's probably when the green wave comes a little lower, you'll start having your divergences, um, like this. So that's lower, and these are, there were even RSI divergences as the price was going up. The oscillators are going down, and
Yes.
eventually it had a reversal, but it was, you would only want to look for shorts on it when, I would say, when this line here, this white line, this fast MA is under this green wave line. When you see this
Green
line
with black.
under here,
I can see it.
yeah, and
Yes, yes.
you often have it too go like this. Whoops. Um, Kind of go like that. Oh, that's so. I know it. The magnet's on. That's why I did that. Um, so you often have it kind of go like this, like it tries to get above again, and then it rejects. So watch for that, because if it gets back above, like right here, it got above, it just went up. It went like up.
With
So whenever this line's above, it's generally bullish, unless it's printing a divergence. So yeah.
I think my problem is that you see the when the first spike for that Green Mountain spike and
Hmm.
the still on the left, right. And then if I were entered early and I see the big mountain already on the top of the mountain, then
Hmm.
I would automatically assume I should take the position up. By doing that, I'm missing the real juice of going up. So
Yeah,
that is
yeah,
my problem.
yep,
If I were looking at this chart, at the look,
yeah.
yeah,
Um, and there are things you can do. I could show you to enter in on that as a long trade. Um, so
I see.
once it gets this bullish, like you think, oh wow, this here is a bearish shark fin, but look, it's nowhere near coming down till later. But what you would have, so let's just kind of look at it this way. You would start doing this. Here's a wick here. Oh, there's a key level right there. I didn't even notice it, somewhere around here. But what you would really want to watch for is stuff like this, where a high, um, there it is, right there. So this would even be like a 15-minute line. So these are called opposing levels with SMCX. So
Um,
in this uptrend, then you have a couple red candles going down. The top of it, the
yes.
top of the candle body, that's an opposing level. And so once price gets above that, it's pretty bullish. And look, at even it respected it here. So like in many cases, in strong trends, like if you zoomed in, and it would look more like more candles on different time frames, but you could mark these levels on, say, like a one time frame and then go to another and say, okay,
Right.
this went down, the next candle came back up, and then the next one a little higher, and it wicked on it. And then the same thing here,
Mhm.
um, like right here, you had this red one would have been an opposing candle, and then price went up, came back down, and went way up, and it came back down and touched it again, and then went way up. So watch out for that. The opposite colored candles can often be an entry, or at the top when price goes back down to it but doesn't go below and then it just goes up, just get in. But you can only do that so much before the trend dies. But especially when you see it, more of them, like this one would have gave you more time. Like this one, these three candles, this series of candles would have had a really good opposing level right on it. And so
Mm-hmm.
when price finally got above it, and then right here, this wick, this tap on it would have been your entry, and it'd been pretty decent. So if you draw your lines on the top of those candle bodies like that in the trend, it could really help. And then it's the opposite in the downtrend. Let's see what else. I want to move on and talk about a couple more coins. So, I'm sorry, who was that?
Sure.
Wanted to look at BNB and XRP Prosperity. I'm sorry it took so long, Prosperity. I haven't forgotten about you. Let's just do that. I don't even really look at BNB much, but because it's a big market cap, but there's no reason I can't look at it. So I will get back to these other ones. Oh, sorry, 1 second. I dropped my pen. I've got like little handwritten notes. BNB is a big one, so I would definitely start off by looking at the high time frames. And this thing, wow, that's bullish. Lots of volume. It kept going above opposing levels. This here would be an opposing level, a monthly one, which would be really strong. So I would make that as key level monthly red because price is below it. And so the next key level that I would mark is this one here at the bottom of these green candles, and that one would be green. And this is just the way I do it, but because price is right smack dab in the middle, I want to just mark out key levels that are relevant. And as you see, I mark them right on the candle body, like in this one because of this here. This is a really good one too, right here, because you had a series of candles, and this one too. But I mean, I'm not going to trade it, so I'm not going to go all the way down there. But that's how you do it, and just put it at the bottom of the opposite colored candle. So these green levels are areas you'd be looking for a bounce, and you'd be having resistance here, and that's just the monthly. Then you go down to your weekly and you do it again. And so you start getting, now you have a level here is a weekly opposing level. And I'm just going to put the top one on because it's so close. And so I'm just marking some levels, and all I'm doing, I'm just kind of curious because it's had yeah, that's definitely reacting to that fib. It kind of looks like it might try to get above this. There's a level here. There's a key weekly level right here that it seems to want to interact with, and it's because price is above, I just make it green. So once I have levels like this, I'll do even daily and sometimes 4 hour, but I generally don't go below that. And so when I go to these different time frames and I look and I zoom in on the candles, on the candle bodies, and I make these lines, that's when I start waiting for price. And when it comes to these levels, I expect a reaction, and there usually is. When you see a big wick like this, that means there's a major key level there, almost always. So I check the 4 hour for that. It's just me. Yeah, so there's really a couple key levels here. It's probably this monthly and this weekly. Excuse me. So this one here, this was resistance, then it was support, and you had a big run. Wow, this is this has got so much data for BNB. It's one of the ones I just neglect looking at because I try to trade like stuff with a smaller market cap. But with this, I would be pulling some supply zones or order blocks. In this case, because it's now in a downtrend on the 4-hour and it's still putting in lower lows and lower highs, I would be looking for bearish order blocks, which, opposing levels are very similar. So if you put a 4-hour line here, that's also right by an order block. So this here is an area where I would expect a rejection. There's also, and the 4-hour stuff is pretty solid. You've also got a fair value gap here. So there's a lot of confluence here. Will it make it to that one when there's these other ones? I don't know, but there's a lot of reason that it might go up here. And it tends to be that when there's a lot of confluence, then that's often where it goes. Not saying that that it's going to go there, but it's more likely. You have one here too. So now I would look at, oh yeah, it's most likely going to get up here. Most likely, because there was a bullish divergence right when it started going up here. And this is that key level. If it can hold this. Watch this key level here. These two key levels, these are really important for it. 844 and 909 or 910-ish. Because see how it's wanting to find support on this level, and then it fell below. And here, it was resistance. So there's really a zone all through here. But if it can hold above this 909, it's going to be bullish, probably. And if it goes below this one, it's bearish. But you want to look here on this recent swing. And for that, I'd probably even go down to the 1 hour. Yeah, I would say it's most likely coming up here. There's these fair value gaps, order block, 4-hour opposing level, Fibonacci 786. I mean, it could just drop right here, but with that bullish divergence on the 4-hour and the RSI being above the 50 on the 1 hour, it's probably on its way up here at the very least. I can't say how long it's going to go up. I think it's an overall downtrend, but I don't know if you're scalping this or swing trading it. Prosperity. Oh, you're welcome. But overall, there's no telling when it's at a pivotal moment, like this green line and this red one here. This zone right here is really important. Yeah, so that's pretty much it on that one. Let's look at what's the other one you wanted to see? XRP. I don't look at XRP as much as I used to. I used to look at it so often. Oh my goodness, it's been a while. I've got all these areas on here that are expired. Just hit fair value gaps that are full and stuff. There was a massive volume zone here. Looks like it just, with that on there, I haven't even looked at anything else yet. XRP, when it had this crazy move, it was ranging. It has a massive range right now, and there's some sort of key level here. This green line is an area it doesn't seem to want to go below $2. And so down here, if it goes back down here, that's a good area to look for, longs possibly. And then it hasn't wanted to hold above this red one yet. So maybe this is a big consolidation because it didn't lose this bottom one. But if it rejects on this white line on this point of control, there's a chance that it will go back down to this green line and maybe lower. But let's look at this. It's still in a downtrend on the daily. This could just be a higher low, or sorry, lower high. Because it's gradually putting them in. Let's get rid of this too. It's actually right at the middle of the monthly trend X, and it's got a nice fair value gap on the daily below it. It's in bullish sentiment. It has a hidden bullish divergence on the daily, so there's a chance it can definitely go up. There's a good chance. And remember though, bull divs can invalidate. So oh wait, no, that one. Let me see here. Where was that? No, that's, yeah, here it is. Here it is. It can work all the way from here. You can stretch these lines as long as they're at the correct angle. They're valid. So yeah, it had it here, and then it came back down again. I bet you there's a regular divergence on a lower time frame. You can even do this from the RSI. Now, like if you're trying to pull divergence lines on something, you don't have to worry about it intersecting with the wick. My alerts are just kind of I don't know if you can hear that background noise, but yeah, this has potential to go up again. And it just bounced from the low of the volume area range, or the fixed range volume profile, the value area low. So it does have a good chance to go up. And if it gets above this monthly, that's pretty good. But it's XRP, so it's usually a slow mover. So I definitely look at the weekly. Oh, you're welcome. Oh, wow. Yeah, this is bullish. I should have looked at this sooner. Even just from Trendex alone. Look at that. It's got a narrow weekly, and it had a mega bounce on it. There's going to be resistance here at 230, 254, and 278. Not saying it's going to get up there. It takes a lot to move this, and it's in a downtrend, so it could still get up to this purple line on Trendex and then still remain. That's the R2. Or where's that previous week high? I think, this is R3 and this is R2, or previous week high, I think. I forget what colors I made mine, so let me look at it. Weekly purple, the R2. So it could still make it up to here and still technically be in a downtrend. if it went lower and made another lower low. But it is in a bullish state right now. It's definitely above the 50, though right now it's closed. It's confirmed a bearish shark fin close. So even though it can go up some, there's no telling how much. Like in this case, it closed one, but it went up and then made a divergence and had a dip. It's kind of risky to go long on it. But if you like look at the opposing levels as well, you might be able to take some trades on those. Make sure you got a solid one though, like where there's a series of candles, like say like this one. If you would have went long on top of it, but it would have just took off anyway. Really, if you would have seen something like this and then like as it's moving and you put your level like at the top of the body, this one closed above it, and then this one, as soon as it's, if you were watching right when this candle closed and this one opened and you started seeing it going up, that it was above this, that's a good sign that it would have went up. But you know, there's always a risk with everything. That's a really good sign because it was above the 50, but you know, it would have been iffy because it crossed here. And then by the time this white line crossed over, it would have probably, you know, been, the big candle had already happened. It's at a key level right now too. So watch these levels where you draw a line on these opposing levels. So like in this downtrend, it would have been the top of this green candle. And so now that's, I would make it purple because it's above it, but it hasn't confirmed. But it looks bullish. It looks like it's bouncing on it. So, but this here, it's a risk. It's definitely in bullish sentiment. So you would want to look at lower time frames on this one. So that's XRP. I'm going to look at, and you're welcome, no worries. I'm going to look at GPS and Bless, it looks like, and Party. Somebody wanted to see Party. Coco. You know what? I'll just do Party really quick. This is interesting. Well, look at the volume. That's looks like it had a breakout. I didn't know if you caught this, but oh yeah, that was a nice one. So it's had a breakout, so this uptrend might be sustained. Coco, it's had definite reactions on this downtrend, and in here, like you really could tell, like it would look different on lower time frames, but you can really tell with this wick here, and then look at that retest right at the order block. That's pretty good. That's a good sign that this reversal is solid. Look at that. Yeah, Coco, this was an interesting one to look at. It I mean, we're a little late, but probably not late, you know. So this had a nice downtrend and then a super breakout, and it hit the demand zone here at the same time, and it didn't quite make it down to retest the trend line, but look at that. So it's bullish for now, though it just hit a key level. Couple key levels here, really. It took liquidity. There was liquidity right here. This is a risky spot for long. It is a slightly higher high than this, but yeah, that's definitely a new uptrend. But yeah, this thing is reversed from its downtrend. It's in an uptrend, but it does have some resistance here. Let's do something like that. Need to look at lower time frames for it. Oh yeah. This is another interesting thing you can do. Like after you have a breakout, like oftentimes before it does the retest, you'll have like a hidden bear continuation, and that's what it did here. Like so, it broke out, and you're like, well, when's it going to come back down and retest? And right at this high, or this over here, this would have been where the oscillator is. You would have had like a hidden bear. So it would have gave you a good idea if you actually entered on the breakout. It would have gave you a good idea of when to get out before it comes back down and does a retest. So it would have formed for a little bit. There would have been some time, but at a certain point, like if you were in a long here, you can kind of say, okay, it's wanting to go back down soon. Oh, you're in a short. Oh, cool. Good one. Yeah, it had that rejection of that daily opposing right at the trend X. I bet you entered on that trend X line. That was even better. So because you tend to have good entries. Yes, Sandman. I looked at Fartcoin earlier. It was like one of the first ones I looked at earlier. You know what's so weird is I see you in the chat, but then when I look in the audience, it doesn't show you. And if you want to join, or anybody wants to join, let me know, and I'll let you join. I'm going over a few coins for requests. But yeah, that is a nice looking short. But it on the hourly, it's still pretty bullish RSI. I would be looking to take profit at some point, Coco. I'm sure you know what you're doing. There's a potential profit area down here, maybe somewhere around here. Maybe you want to pull a fib, or you know what? This is something. The midline of the trend X levels tends to be a very good spot for retracement sometimes. So maybe even the top of that fair value gap. So if you have any trend X levels, and then you do like a GAN box with the 50%, you will often see really solid reactions at the 50% between trend X levels. Try it sometime and you'll see what I mean. So there's a strong likelihood that this thing will have some sort of reaction to this, to 13 cents, or just slightly around 13 cents. And when I'm looking for key levels, if I'm scalping, maybe I'll look at the 15-minute, but I never go below that. And generally, I use the hourly as my lowest level, or lowest time frame for key levels. But if it's like just a scalp, sometimes 15-minute levels work. But there is an order block here too. So if you're in that short, I would be looking to take profits soon. I mean, it may keep going, but there's no bearish money flow divergence, and it's still high. It may come down, but because it rejected on this key level, but this one, you know, the volume's dropping, so that's good. There's going to be probably some sort of reaction here. You've got like an opposing area, the 50% point and the fair value gap there. So yeah, I don't know. Maybe it'll keep going. You might just get a retracement and then it won't stop you out, maybe, and then you can keep holding it if you want. You may do quite what you know what you're doing, I'm sure. But that does look like a bullish breakout from what I could tell. And you had your narrow weekly volumes come down, but it's definitely rejected daily key level and this other level. So maybe you'll do well with that short. All right, so next coin, and Sandman or Coke or anybody, if you want to join the stage, just let me know. Okay, so I'm going to move on to Bless. BNB. This is interesting. Okay. Oh, the 12 hours just crossed into bullish sentiment. It's the daily. Not yet. It's kind of looking like it's oversold. It might be having a breakout here. I don't feel like this is enough to call it a breakout. Maybe some sort of other pattern being formed right now, but I don't see like a third touch. Maybe from up here. No. Some other stuff going. Oh. What is decision? As I am not sure if I understand your charting. Oh, yeah, we looked at Fartcoin earlier, and you're right. It is decision time because it's at the trend line. But it needs to put in a higher high to change the market structure and then come back down for a retest, maybe somewhere around here like we were talking about earlier. But it's above the trend line, like it's broken out. But will it just dump from here? I mean, there's also a bearish order block there too. So there's a lot going on with Fartcoin. A lot. You know, it could reject here. But that money flow is bullish though. Well, it needs it'll probably have a retracement before too long, but this had a pretty bullish money flow divergence. Look at that though, it's turning red. There's a nice wick right around here. So that's definitely decision time. So Bless kind of might be a pattern here. Oh, you're welcome. Yeah, I seen Sandman in here, and then it looks like he's gone, or he was in here for a moment, and then now he's go on or something. Just kind of line these up and see if it's kind of like a bullish breakout here potentially. I don't really like the pattern, so I would look at horizontals for this one. This last looks pretty bearish, but for how long? That's a so there's some resistance up here at this top area of this weekly pivot, and it's already kind of looking like it wants to curve back down. I think Bless is coming lower. That's my opinion. I don't think this thing's going up right away. It may have a breakout with that weird pattern, but I wouldn't I wouldn't be betting on this one to go up very much or for very long. And if it does, like it's probably due for a retracement with everything that I'm seeing on here. And this there's a lot of resistance here, and it's hitting it. I mean, that midline of the weekly is giving it some beef. I just wanted to look at this one because of it was on EAX and it had some volatility. It was one of the bigger movers, and I think it's because of the key level here, the weekly. But this thing, it's pretty bottomed out, so it may go down, but I wouldn't want to short it because it's not going to go that far if it does, and it still has potential to move up, but the resistance that it has is just, it's not worth longing. So I'm just going to mark this up, and then just kind of, if I look at it later, just to see what happened according to what I thought might happen, and move on to the next coin. Do you guys, anybody want to join stage and chat or have any other tokens? I got one more I want to look at. GPS. I'll look at it really quick. And Doge. Okay. I'll look at this one really quick too because it was on EAX. Oh yeah, this one had a money flow divergence. It's been in the red for a while. Let's get involved. Boy, these wicks on this thing. I don't know if I would be trading this one right away. I mean, it's at resistance. As I would like, yeah, I'll look at it. It's got, boy, this has a nice money flow divergence, and the volume's picking up. So it could bust through that. It could bust through this. Does kind of a potential downtrend here that could be getting ready for breakout. Something like that. Yep. I don't always like to pull from the recent top. When I do my trend lines, I like to pull somewhere around here. Yeah, this is it's definitely got some stuff to deal with before it goes up. to get this trend line just right, I would look at a higher time frame and make sure, you know, that the trend line's touching the wicks. And that's how, and then it should look pretty good on the lower time frames now. So that, I would say that's in the correct position for the trend line. It's getting interaction on it, and I'll just kind of migrate down to the 4. And you can have these candles go above it if they don't close. Like, yeah, this thing's it has potential to break out, but it's going to create a RSI bear div if it does go up higher than this high. Most likely, unless this RSI thing gets up here. Maybe it'll come down one more time. I mean, look at this, these wicks on here. There's another level, another resistance level here. There's a lot of resistance on this one. I mean, it could be getting ready to make it. And I found that by just looking at like where these wicks and candles kind of intersected and where there were reactions to it, because you had it on top here and then a dump when it went below, another wick on these, a wick, and then, you know, you even had a wick on it here and here. So this thing could be getting ready to break out. The resistance is close. Maybe it will go up, put in a slightly higher high, and then come back down for a retest somewhere. This does look like it's trying to push up, but it might come in like after this Bollinger Band gets up higher. It might come back down and try to put in another bullish shark fin. But it's up here, but because the Bollinger Band is so wide, there's a strong potential for it to come back down and do, you know, put in another shark fin down here before it holds above one of these levels. So that's GPS. It's worth watching. Mowgli, if you watch this replay and you see this is kind of interesting here. Because of the volume's picking up. So you might want to watch this if you're listening to this and you hear it when you do your live stream. Take a look at it. It might be interesting. Maybe. Okay, Doge. I've looked at all the coins this time that I had on my list that I'm surprised. I was like, maybe I won't have enough time to get through them all, and looked at some extras. Mo, I hope you get a microphone because you are such a great trader. And I see you in here listening, and I appreciate you coming. You obviously know a lot about trading when you're getting the results you do. So it's good to have you in here. And I would think that'd be so cool if you got a microphone and started coming on and joining us for chat and sharing some of the stuff you know. Because I look at your chart sometimes and the things you type in on here, and I just want to better understand. My Doge TA is pretty old here, so this is I do my TA differently than that. Oh, look at that. I haven't looked at this in such a long time, and I drew this line on here for an uptrend, and it's right at it. I haven't looked at Doge in months, like months, and look at that. There is an uptrend line here for Doge, and it's at it. So sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, I will just right now. I will accumulating Doge. I this price, and I really hope it can be go lower, and I want to pick up lower with the intention that the Doge can push make the previous high, which is about 0.4.
Yeah.
Yeah. So basically, if something, you know, that in the crypto, there's some altcoin season, the Doge will pick up. At least it's a relatively stable, maybe
Yeah.
compared to others. Yeah.
It is. One of the reasons it's hard for me to stay bullish on Doge. I mean, it's so interesting because it has an unlimited supply, but yet it has the richest guy in the world that has supported it. It has a massive community. It's basically a copy of Bitcoin, but upgraded. Give me just a second to take a sip of water.
Yeah, please. That's interesting. You also analyze. You have the trend line like that. That is so fun.
Yeah, it's definitely in a very slow, gradual uptrend, and it's at that line. It's at that line right now. There is a good chance for it. There's no hidden bull on the daily. Let me look at the weekly too. It's in bearish sentiment on the weekly. And it's usually when it does this, it might come down more, at least put in a shark. It might go a little bit lower.
I see.
I mean, not to say that it's going to break this uptrend. Not saying that, but there is some liquidity down here. There's something going on down here at this level. Yeah, there's definitely something. This is like
so 0.08. Okay. Okay.
I'm just kind of looking around on it, but I'm often looking to make sure a candle body doesn't close right on it, and to see if there's strong reactions to a level, and then so there's a level here too. I would make that green. And what was your question again? I'm sorry.
I think that will help me tremendously. Just the way how you draw this key level.
Yeah.
So at least I know where if I want the DCA, what is the area I should pay interest? I can put alert on. Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Well, with anything, there's always a risk.
True.
There's always a risk, but I would keep in mind that there's a strong possibility that Bitcoin has come close to topping. I forgot to look at Bitcoin. I think it's possible that Bitcoin has had a top for it's going to be a while before it hits its all-time high again. And with that being said, I mean, Doge can be affected by Bitcoin.
I see.
And DCAing into something right now is a tad bit risky. I won't, try to tell you what to do. The volume on Doge on the higher time frame is pretty solid, and it is in an uptrend. At that uptrend line, anything can happen. But it's we're at the top, the top or the time period of the traditional top of the bull run. So it's probably a risky time to DCA into anything if you're hoping for long term. Now it may keep going up. There are institutional investors in now. It's different now, but Bitcoin is often dictated by its programming, like with the halving and everything. And there's only so much money in the world, and a lot of people put their money in Bitcoin already, like when the ETFs were approved and stuff like that. So it's hard to say. It's probably going to be affected by news a lot now, because it's like we're at the mercy of institutional investors and people that buy on ETFs. I mean, we might get a super cycle. I think it's unlikely, but it's possible. I have a feeling, honestly, that Bitcoin is going to have a bear again, but it's only going to make it down to like 50K or 42K lowest. because there's a Fibonacci 18 or 1618 there. Not to say that it's really going there, but I don't know. I mean, there'd have to be some news to confirm this charts, what the charts are saying, but it is risky. Yeah. Oh, no problem.
Yeah.
If you
get, I think I get your point. I get your point. It's not, if you just by looking at this chart, it's not something you want to trade. And but you put a trend line.
I guess I would say I would trade it, but I wouldn't DCA to buy and hold, like hodl. I wouldn't invest in it right now. But if you get in the green, you know, you may want to consider, like, you know, you could hold it long term, and it may shoot up at any time. It is in an uptrend. It is at the trend line. There's a possibility. But I haven't really looked at it in depth yet. I looked at a couple of the higher time frame things, and there is a strong possibility that it can go up. There is a bullish divergence on the daily. I didn't even mention that yet because we were talking, and the price has come down a little bit.
Yes.
So, and plus the money flows went up. So it's very slight, and it will take time if this plays out. But there's always going to be, it's close because right here it's pretty level. It's a debatable divergence, as a matter of fact, because like where at this bottom is where you want to measure the money flow. So it's right here, as a matter of fact, instead of this one. But
so you don't use the wick as a
no,
line.
Not for divergences.
Oh.
I use the wicks for trend lines, but when divergences, you kind of ignore the wick. But I'm still kind of working my way down to other time frames. So there's potential here, and there is potential here. This one does look a little better which is probably the time frame you would more so want to look at, the 4 hour, because even this could take week to play out, you know. So that has had little bit of divergence. Yeah, a little bit of a bull dip, but the thing with this, which is kind of bearish, sadly, is this here. It's been below the 50 for a while, and now it's putting in a bearish shark fin. So what I would do, and it's got a hidden bearish divergence right now. It's probably coming down right now, or getting ready to. Like, right, it's got it on the RSI. You can take it from this high or that one. And this is so basically it's, I mean, it could go up. Divergences can invalidate, but there's a high probability that this is eventually going to come back down. And you know what you want to watch too, because of this big candle and this zone, there is an order block here. So this candle here would be your order block, this red one. And because of this big candle here, there's a strong possibility that this will have a reaction. I don't know if it'll go up, but this is definitely a bearish divergence on the 4 hour on the RSI. But this is so bizarre because you've also got a bullish divergence on the money flow. And I mean, this is mixed signals. Yeah. So like there's definitely a bullish divergence. It may just be building pressure, and this might just be for a pullback to something like this, because the price came down while the money flow went up slightly. And something like this,
it's indecision.
Yeah. Yeah. Now here's the thing. If this does retrace and you look at the 4 hour money flow, and that money flow gets below this purple line, it will invalidate the bull div. If this red line goes below here, it could, but it's like two divergences are kind of fighting right now. So there's something going on, or if price goes up by chance, that would be an invalidation line for the bear div. If somehow it pushed up and closed part of a candle above this, that would invalidate it. And it's possible. It is possible that could happen. So right now is a good time to watch, because this was a bull div. This is definitely a bull div on the money flow. It's in bullish sentiment on the 4-hour, but there's probably going to be a retracement, maybe to here. We'll see. This is 16. If it gets above 16 cents, 16.2 cents or whatever, definitely would invalidate the bear div for now. Yeah. So,
and also it's a opposing level. If above that 1.6 is a opposing level, right? Two.
As a matter of fact, it is. It is correct. Yep.
Okay.
It has. There's some resistance here, but it's there's an opposing level right here at the top at 15.8, but it's all through here. And it is in a downtrend right now, but these higher time trend lines, they don't, it may bounce here. It could be strong, but a trend line isn't, certain. They do break. So something's going to happen with this. You might have another dip. Could be on this high time frame trend line. It could just be one weekly wick. It could, or so like this, it didn't break it because the wick bounced on it. So you see how some of them is just wicks. It could come down here and wick pretty far and still get above that trend line before a higher time frame change. But this is an important trend line here, though I'm not saying it's going to continue up. It could break it, and there's it's going to be interesting. It may be choppy for a little bit because of how it's got those opposing divergences. But technically it's in a downtrend on the 4-hour.
Yeah.
And even though there's a slight bullish money flow divergence, it would take some time for this to go up, and I would lean bearish because of that that hidden bear, and the fact that this has been spending so much time below the 50, and now as soon as it gets above the 50, it's got a hidden bear with the shark fin. So oftentimes, let me see if I can find something else. Try to find something else as a good example to show you, because it's similar to what's going on with it right now. Here's kind of one. Here's something that's similar. It's like in this case, right through here, you had the RSI kind of staying below the 50, kind of going up and down. But it was in a general downtrend. And then you had, it got above the 50, but it put in a bearish shark fin, a really sharp one. And then it went right back down. So it just may not be done. And then, then it had the bull div starting to play out here, getting ready to. Actually, it didn't even do it till here. So you had the money flow divergences take a long time sometimes. So sometimes it feels like it's going to play out here, and you might get enough reaction, like say right here would have been one, but you could have got in here and just had a small move. But overall, it takes a long time. But then it really reverses. Like here, it finally reversed, and then it had its higher low. Doge is very interesting. And here it's doing it again, but it may take a while. And before it put in, where was that? Anyway, before it put in the first higher low, it put in its first higher high. So you want to watch for that, the change of character.
Okay.
Right now,
Yes.
you want to watch the market structure, because it's going to also tell you like about if any of these divergences invalidate.
Thank you so much.
Oh, you're welcome. It's 10:44. I normally run it till 11, so I usually go a little bit longer. Did I already look at GPS? I think I did. I got it on my list over here, and I just want to make sure.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe I did. It's yeah, I did look at this one. Okay, so I've pretty much looked at everything. Normally I look at Bitcoin first, but I forgot to do it earlier. You're welcome. Anytime if you have any kind of questions or anything, and you just want to ask me sometime, you can send me a friend request, like when you click on me on my name, and then click add friend, and then just send me a direct message, and I try to answer my DMs. Oh, no worries, Cat Monkey. It's just how I am as a person. I just think people should talk to one another. I think communication is so important. It's not really hard to do. So like, if you ever feel like you want to just ask a question outside of time, when I'll get back to you as soon as I can. So you can send a friend request, and that way you can open up DMs and then ask questions and stuff like that. And if you have some question, there's a chance somebody else has asked it too. And if a couple people ask me the same thing, I'll make a YouTube video about it, and then that way it can help other people, or I can show you in the video things that are kind of difficult to type and show through screenshots in the chat. But yeah, Bitcoin, I haven't even done much in my my mentor channel here in the Discord. I normally look at Bitcoin at the very least, but I haven't looked at a lot of other coins because I'm doing a lot of scalping. And to show a scalping setup, I'll try to post more setups. To show a scalping setup, by the time I show it, it's going to play out. So to me, it makes sense. Yeah. To me, it makes sense to show Bitcoin, so you got a general idea of the market, or maybe like something for a swing trade that may be preparing to do something in a while. But the scalps, like, they're just kind of something that people have to do on their own, because by the time if they try to take a trade that somebody else takes, it may be a late entry. But that's why I was trying to show people like the hidden divergences, because they often are. You would think it's a late entry, but it tends to go up or down and continue the trend. I do use easy algo tools. They're my favorite. They are the best. And I actually wanted to talk about SMCX a little bit during this stream. Maybe I'll just talk a little bit more here towards the end, but I do use volume as well. So these fixed range volume profiles are great, and they make very strong levels, and prices is often comes to these levels like a magnet. And I showed this level, like some of these levels that it came to, like quite a bit before it came here. Like, and I was like, I expect a reaction at this because it's a value area low. Hey, you know what's weird, Sandman, is I see you. It's like you're invisible. Like I see you in the chat, but then like when I look on the audience, it doesn't show you. If
I understand it's a hidden divergence.
It's what?
I see. It's a sort of like a hidden divergence. hard to see. I'm joking.
Yeah. Yeah, I gotcha. Yeah.
Hidden because it's so difficult to spot on like the hey, there's a hidden divergent, right? That's why I'm joking. I just
Yes,
said
I got
that. Like,
yeah. I understand. Yeah, it's a good joke. Yeah. Yeah. It's are you guys seeing it too? Like he's in the chat. I see him typing in the chat. But then when I look in the audience, it doesn't. That's Sandman. That's pretty amazing. I don't know how you're doing it.
How he's able to do that? How he's able to do that?
Yeah, and he's chatting, and he didn't answer the question. It's so interesting. All right. Anyway, I'll probably end the stream soon, but Bitcoin is appeared to have a breakout of this downtrend. It is getting above, like I have my next week pivot on, which I wouldn't recommend trading off of something like that, but I like to show it like before the weekly pivots come out. So this here where it says next week pivot, these lines will disappear. But it has had a breakout. I think it'll probably have more of a retracement, but it's had a breakout. We'll see how it goes. It has a bear div, so it's it's definitely, let's see, yeah, well, that's a 15-minute bear div. It's Bitcoin. I need to look at higher time frames. Yeah, overall, Bitcoin is, it's coming down. That's my opinion. I know people could invest in it at any time and it can have a little pump or something, but I think this is what I think. This is my idea. I don't know for sure, but this is the previous volume area low of this bigger range. And because it's now went down to this other range, I think there's a high probability it's going to probably stay in that range. If it doesn't, this like red line, it's possible that it'll reject here and come back down and go consolidate if it's going to do anything at all. But if it makes it up here, I think there's a high probability it'll reject there too. But if it gets above this green line, there's a chance that it could go up to this red line. There's a chance. So yeah, this for Bitcoin, it has had a breakout. It appears to be rejecting this previous volume area. Will it come back down here and just kind of range again? I don't know, but this is going to act as resistance. This green line, believe it or not, is going to be resistance. So there's, Bitcoin's got some hurdles to clear if it's going to get in an uptrend again, and it's in a downtrend. And even if it got up to here and rejected, it'd have to get above here or something to have a market structure shift. Yeah, that is so interesting. Sandman is typing on here, but he's not responding, as if he's not hearing us or something. And then he's still talking about Fartcoin, which is great. All right, guys. Thanks for joining. I hope you enjoyed it. I actually got it recorded, so I'm going to put this on YouTube. But for you guys that were here and you watched it, you've already seen it. Thanks for taking part. Good questions, Cat Monkey. And Mo, it was good to see you. Norm, especially everybody, thank you for joining. You all have a good day. Happy trading. I hope you make some money.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome.